the real estate market with you. And then following Arati, I'll come back up and talk about life care. Arati?
Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Jill, and thank you, Sandra Cole, for having the Arati Hammond team here to present real estate market update. Welcome, everyone. Wow, this is a full house. I thought I was speaking to 10 people. I didn't expect it. So I am really nervous, so please bear with me. So the market update I'm going to give you today covers pretty much St. Lucie, Martin, and Palm Beach County area. Our Tri-County area, pretty much in terms of trends, not much changes. So anything I share with you today applies as an overall trend to the 3 counties. But of course, specific gated communities or non-gated communities, wherever you live, those numbers may be different based on where you live, and that we can talk to you individually. But this is more like an overall market overview. Good? Okay. So let's see. This is our team. In the back there are my team peeps, Pam Lee, Dawn, and my bestie Lori is going to help me out. She's my So we have been in business a very long time, since 2002, and all our business is word of mouth, repeat, let me pause on that. Word of mouth, repeat, referral is how we have built our business, and we have served the Treasure Coast since 2002. So today we are here to sort of give an overview of the market trend, how's the market doing, and what to expect out of the market. But before we deep dive, I just want to tell you a little bit about ourselves. I am Arati Hammond, and I've been here in Florida for 23 years. Immigrant from India, originally came here in 1987, and been incredibly blessed with this country and all that I've been given for opportunity to work. And we have built this thriving real estate career with the help of Dawn, Pam, and me, and we have done this for a long time. So are you prepared for the new market trends? So from 2020, 2021, we are now in 2025. Does anybody think that the market has changed? Right? So a little bit, not a lot. So inventory is on the rise, and that just means how many houses are currently overall for sale. That's what we define inventory by supply and demand. How many buyers are buying every month versus how many homes are coming on the market. So if the homes coming on the market are coming on faster and or staying on longer than what the buyers are coming in at, then the inventory creeps up. So definitely inventory is on the rise right now. Average monthly supply. So I'm like, Dawn and I are very much hyper-focused on numbers. My background is engineering, and we are very, very much number-driven. And real estate, just like anything else, although to sell the real estate and your home, it's all the nice, pretty stuff. Oh, I have quartz countertop and pretty paint and gorgeous wallpaper, and all the beautiful stuff comes in when it comes to marketing. But the numbers are numbers, and we never lose focus of that because one can't replace the other, and we track numbers. So here we are talking about average monthly supply over the years. So in 2023, the overall supply at the end of the year was 2.9 months of supply. That means if in an average we are selling 100 homes a month, then in 2.9 months we would have sold everything we have on hand. That's months of supply. In 2024, then 1 year later, that month of supply climbed from 2.9 to 4.6. Then by 2025, says 5.9, but Dawn, isn't the March number 6.2?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So that's currently now, this is February numbers, but March is 6.2. So what does this even mean? What do I mean by 2.9, 4.6, 5.9, 6.2? How does this apply to you as a homeowner? So the way it translates is, the general rule of thumb is if the inventory is 6 months, then it's a equal market. The scale is not tipped towards the seller's market or a buyer's market. It's sort of an even market is what the general rule of thumb is. The moment it starts creeping towards the 6, you're hedging towards a buyer's market. So buyers hold the upper hand, which means inventory is on the rise, demand is a little sluggish, I suppose. Locally here in our Tri-County area, we have been firmly in a seller's market. Homeowners have been in the driver's seat for nearly 9 years now. So it's been a very long, steady run of seller's market. Real estate is cyclical. These numbers were bound to adjust sooner or later. And so now they're starting to, get to middle ground and shifting direct into the buyer's market range, I suppose. So 2024, because it's hard to cover all 3 county numbers and it'll be very confusing, we picked the middle, not north, not south. We just randomly picked the middle to focus on to share with you today. And so if you look at February 24 versus February 25 and year-on-year price change, really in the last 2 years, not much has happened. Everything has been sort of status quo. Prices haven't gone drastically up, drastically down. It's just been sort of, we're just chugging along. Months of supply, on the other hand, you can see has gone up drastically. Can everybody see it, or am I blocking this? Right? So now the inventory has gone up like nearly 44% over the course of a year. What else has happened during that same time is our interest rates went from 3.75 in 2019, went to an all-time high in 23. Now we are adjusted, are we still at 6.9, Dawn? Yeah.
You went down like a smidge.
Smidge, okay, so we're still right around there at 6.98. And that is a 30-year fixed borrowing rate for a buyer, because that is part of the equation on evaluating values, etc. So you can see how the interest rate has spiked up. And how many of you were keeping an eye on the market in 2020, 2021, over asking, 100,000 over asking, everything sold within a matter of 2 hours, right? You blink and it's gone. Like, the house was gone. Like, every house we listed, we got 15 offers on it, right? Like, you heard all the stories about it. So the 2020 and 2021 rise in the inventory, went up like drastically, right? Like, it wasn't a gradual climb in 20 and 21. It went like, like skyrocketed. And so there's a lot of money that got poured into the economy, prices just shot up. So the prices are already at an all-time high right now, still. So this is an example we are sharing with you of a house that we personally sold. So we sold this house right here in Palm City for $490,000 in 2019. Then we turned around and sold the same house in 2023 for $835,000.
Wow. That's when they went up.
What did the sellers do to this house in that time frame? Nothing. Nothing. They just timed it perfectly and got it. But the price stuck there, right? So like, this is the difference in the price with no incremental increase in between. It never went from 490 to, for example, 625, then a couple of years, right? Like it never made that big jump, as you can see. And so that leads to what happens to the property taxes. I know everybody talks about nationwide, the news is only focused on interest rates. Is the market gonna go up? Is the interest rates gonna come down? What's gonna happen to the interest rate? Interest. But really, the other underlying factors that affect the buyer's buying power, besides interest rates, and besides the property values already at an all-time high, are taxes. So you can see, and this is on that same property I just showed you. So we are comparing on the same property that went from 490 to 835. The taxes on it went from 6485 to 10,000. So the new buyer is paying that much more in taxes for the house, right? So it's part of the borrowing cost. If you're getting a loan, then PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. These are the four things that affect the buyer's buying power, and then you add HOA to that after that. So this is one of the things that, you know, is definitely challenging, is the taxes that they have to pay. Now, a lot of you all have been locked in your taxes, probably in your homes. If you've lived there 20, 30 years, you're homesteading your homes, so your taxes are all locked in. But the buyer coming in and buying and paying the high price, their tax is a much different story than your tax. Please remember, this is the halfway point, and I'm just the messenger, not the mean person giving all these bad news. I happen to be really nice, so don't hold all this news against me. I don't control any of this. I'm just relaying the market to you. Who thinks insurance is a thorn on our side? Another thing we don't control, like I have no control over it, but we handhold every person and educate them through the process. So insurance rules have changed extensively, and they continue to change daily, and we try to keep up with it. So at the end of the day, a lot of things in your own homes, you may or may not be aware of it, and it may not be affecting, depending upon how long you have lived there and what improvements you have done. But we frequently find that the longer you're living there, the more likely that a lot of the new insurance adjustments have not been made to the house. And so that's something that, you know, really is a question mark. But insurance is a chaos, and definitely a thorn on our side. And so what to expect if you're a sellers in today's market? Let's see. Key factors affecting demand. Yep, like I said, increasing property taxes, higher insurance, mortgage rate, and HOA fees. These are all affecting the property value in the buyer's mind, right? We are talking about what is a buyer thinking today. So those are some of the factors affecting, but beyond the economic, beyond these four things are directly related to your property value, right? Interest rate, mortgage insurance, mortgage rate, and HOA fees. These are things that when a buyer applies for a loan, it directly affects their value. But what are the other, real estate does not operate in a silo or in a vacuum. Other factors affect consumer confidence And some of them are, well, I don't need to tell you, things are sort of like, uncertain. Stock market volatility has caused a lot of uncertainty in people, and the economic headlines influence buyer sentiment. Now, having said all of this, are we, by we I mean the real estate industry, every time I refer to we, I'm not saying myself, but generally, are we listing and selling every day? Yes, because one of the things about real estate is it is a life event. So just because the stock market tumbles doesn't mean somebody's not getting married and buying a house. Somebody's not job relocation and buying a house. So like, it's not doom and gloom, please don't take it that way. We are really selling, but this is more to bring into forefront what you can expect for values. So these are some of the things that are affecting overall consumer confidence. What else do we have? Buyers are more selective, that's true. If you remember 2020, 2021, even some of 22, right, Dawn?
Yes.
Yes. So it was like, I don't need an appraisal, waiving it. I don't need a home inspection, waiving it. You're asking 400? I'm gonna give you 500. Give me the house now. So this was like, right, we were literally dealing with this. For every house we sold, we got 15 offers. Well, one agent and one buyer got the house, which means I was left with 13 very upset agents and even more upset buyers. Like, they were willing to do anything. Now, it has sort of come back to a little bit more normalcy, right? And so they are a little more selective, they are a little more particular. One of the big issues, entire Tri-Coast area, no matter where you live, Palm Beach Gardens, Martin County, St. Lucie County, all three. The first question everybody looks for, what's the age of the roof? What's the age of the roof? Over and over, what's the age of the roof? And one of the things that has led to that is the insurance companies vilifying what they decide is the age of the roof that they're willing to consider as within age range, right? So these are things that the buyer, everybody will ask, what's the age of the roof? Hurricane protection, full impact glass versus panel versus accordion shutters, but some kind of an hurricane protection. Now, in Florida, homes built before 2002 did not have any, what do you call it, rule? Requirement, thank you. Did not have any requirement for hurricane protection. Believe it or not, as far as 2002, that's not that long ago. So all homes built post 2002 already have some kind of hurricane protection, even if it is simply the manual panel shutters. But that's not a guarantee for homes built prior to 2002. And there are still many homes in this whole Tri-County area that are very happily living with no shutters whatsoever. And they all say, I've been here 30 years, nothing's happened. True, I agree with you. But the insurance has decided that you need something. And so that is something that the buyers in turn look for, right? And so that's what it is. Updated kitchen and baths, it is something that the buyers not necessarily look for, but those are the areas where most value is enhanced. Having said that, I'm going to say that with a cautionary tale, is if your house currently does not have updated kitchen and baths, please don't go around putting $100,000 in it and expect to get it all back the next day. When you put it on the market, it won't happen. So, for an ROI, for a return on investment, you need to have some kind of a time frame in between. So I always say making improvements of that big dollar amounts, putting $100,000 in improvements just to sell the house makes 0 sense. Move-in ready, well, we'll quantify that in a second. There, that's why I'm quantifying. Dated versus dirty, where it matters. I know this sounds very simplistic. You guys are all very beautiful people here. I'm sure all your homes are impeccable. But this is something I emphasize to all my, clients and speeches I give, is dated versus dirty. And you'd be shocked how much that makes a difference. So your house could be original kitchen and bathrooms from 1997. However, being decluttered house, windows all cleaned, everything clean and neat, goes a long ways. Buyers think about these things and they say, wow, they've maintained this house beautifully. So you're keeping the house clean and decluttered translates in the buyer's mind into, they take care of this house. So it doesn't necessarily have to be updated for it to show nicely. So Pam is there and she does all our staging and marketing and she goes through, but it's part of what you do is make sure that the house is clean. There's fresh mulch in the front. We all have, how many of you have slider doors in your house? Big, everybody, right? Big slider doors with fingerprints. I'm obsessed about no fingerprints. So, Windex, paper towel, like if your house is on the market, these things are important to keep up and keep clean. Okay, what do we have next? Oh, true. So staging, this is actual pictures of our listings that we have sold. So this house they had partially moved out. So this is the picture with them partially moved out. And this is the picture of us virtually staging it. So that's not real furniture. That's just furniture like AI, is it AI?
Yeah.
Consider AI? Okay, it's AI. So this is AI furniture put in there. So, but the truth of the matter is, in today's market, actually for a decade now, really, 90% of the buyers that walk through the door to look at your house have viewed it online first. Everybody views it online first. On their own, even before their agent tells them about the property. They view it online on their own. And so then they're swiping the pictures online. And if it catches their attention well enough, they pick up and call their agent and say, we'd like to schedule a showing. What are the odds that they're going to schedule a showing with the before picture or the after picture? Right? And so empty rooms are really, like, what am I showing there? Like, they have no way to visualize a lifestyle with that room. Whereas they see this and all of a sudden it like lights up. So our goal when we are staging and evaluating a property in terms of making it clean, presentable, staging, to attract that buyer, to make them pick up that phone and call their agent and say, I would like to schedule a showing. Those are magic words for our ears. I would like to schedule a showing. So we are not, I repeat, we are not trying to sell the house online. Our whole goal with marketing, staging, all the things we do is merely to get that phone call. I'd like to schedule. So it's like sort of like creating a dating profile. You're not looking for that ring. You're only looking for the call for the first date, right? So we're not looking to sell the house online. We're only looking to get that call, attract that customer. Now, it's more important now than ever before that your property shows nicely online, because why? Inventory is going up. So now the buyers have even more houses to swipe through. So when they're swiping through, you want to make sure you catch their attention. And that is our goal in getting it done, and that should be your goal in your homes. There is the patio. Here's a patio, completely empty, and there's the patio, AI staged.
Can't see, she's way behind me.
I don't know, is the AI considered a lady or a guy? Do you know? I don't know. This has to be a lady. Such great taste. Yes. So this is the patio. Now, don't you think this like creates an factor when they see that versus that, right? So these are some of the things that you have in your control. You can't control the mortgage rates, interest rates. You cannot control property taxes. You cannot control homeowners insurance. Maybe if you're the president of your HOA, you have control of the HOA fees, maybe. But besides that, those are all outlying factors you have no control over. But this here, wait, go back. This you're in full control over. Your home, your property, you control this. And this affects value. You're in control over this as well. And this, what else do I have here? Yeah, we can, and we do. So, okay, so I'm going to pause here just for 1 second. One of the things that has become increasingly vital in marketing your home is a video. No matter how small or how big, it doesn't matter. It used to be like a video was associated with like a luxury home. No longer. Just like videos are almost as ordinarily expected as you would any other price range homes. Because buyers in today's market, irrelevant of the age group, might I say, buyers in today's market kind of like to get most of the feel of the house sitting on their phone while half keeping an eye on March Madness or something. Like they're doing most of their shopping from their home, like swiping through pictures, but also looking through the video. And the videos usually give like as if you're going through the house, you come through the front door, you're going through the living room, kitchen, like you're really going through the whole house. So it gives them an idea of how the property is flowing, etc. So that also makes a big difference in how many showings you will get on the house, right? So videos are important. Yes, we work only word of mouth referral, and that's our team, and they're both in the back there. Dawn, together we have like over 30 years of experience. So I would like to take a couple of minutes to open it up for questions, if anybody has any. Yes, ma'am.
How does the condo market relate to the house?
Excellent question. Excellent question. So the let me go back. Oh no, I should go back this way, shouldn't I? Then I'll come to it faster. Oh, look at that going. Look at you guys. The girls do a good job. I didn't know you were going to do that. Oh no, I had to go back. We're not. Anyways, I don't know what did it come back? No. So the condo, remember I showed like the 5.9 months of inventory and currently it's 6.2. So the condo market is definitely way higher months of supply, right? Dawn, what is the number?
It's about 10 and a half months.
10 and a half months. So it's nearly double the single family home market. Now, it's an excellent question. Thank you for asking. So the condos, if you live in a condo, you've heard about all the stuff that, you know, with the HOAs, bringing the building up, what's that word called? Milestone
Study.
milestone engineerings and all this stuff. So all that has affected the condo market. Now in reality, there are many buildings that have full reserve funds, have done everything they need to do, and it's really not out of control. But the news about it is out of control. So the condo market has definitely taken a beating, and it definitely varies based on where your condo is located, because some buildings have a tremendous amount of inventory and others are not so bad. Depends on whether you're on the ocean or you're inland. That also affects value. So there's a lot going on with the condo. It is very individual, but the inventory is very high, and the prices have definitely softened, shall I say? Yes. Yes, sir.
What does all this information have to do with buying here?
It doesn't. So the only reason that I'm invited, and I'll tell you why, is because a lot of the people are homeowners, and a lot of times they need to sell their house in order to move here. And so therefore, as a part of coming to view Sand Hill, they appreciate a market update, or if I was to sell my house today, what can I expect? And that's all it is.
Do they plan on putting all the impact on those here, on all the units?
Jill will go over that when she speaks. Jill Borton. She's right here. Any other? Oh, yes, sir.
Has there been any effect on real estate commissions?
Real estate commissions is just very individual. Every agent charges whatever they wish to charge. Every seller pays whatever they wish to pay. So the commissions have been, as they've always been, entirely negotiable between the seller and their agent. So nothing has changed, shall I say. It's always been negotiable and continues to be negotiable. Yes, sir.
Have you found sellers that don't pay part of the commission? I mean, buyers that don't want to share in the commission?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Have you experienced any of the buyers, if there's a buyer-seller commission split, any of the buyers that don't want to participate, that don't want to pay part of the commissions?
So traditionally, in this country, commissions have been, you all are homeowners and probably have bought and sold houses like 10 times by now, right? So you all are familiar with how real estate works. So for over 100 years, basically in this country, there used to be like, 5% buyer, listing size gets half, seller size gets half. So you're bringing up the question, so you all are aware that there was like a whole class action lawsuit and all this stuff happened. So basically the way the new normal, shall I say the new normal, is that the seller pays their agent, and then they have the option to pay the buyer's agent, not pay them, the buyer pay their own agent, however you want to do. It's all negotiable, it's all open, there's no standard, there's no normal. But when you call your agent to sell your house, you negotiate that between the two of you, basically. If you have any, no? Good? Anybody else? Oh, yes, ma'am.
Is it getting to be more of a
That
practice
woman
for
straight over there
buyers
at
to
the
have
table.
agents?
And I've never said this. Like my
So,
grandmother.
yes,
What's
so
the question, Arati?
is it becoming a practice of buyers having their own agents? So typically, yes. So standard, I've been in this business a very long, since 2002 now.
I never thought
So,
about it, but, I said that.
I'd say would 90% be cooperate? Yeah. So about 90% of all transactions throughout the tri-state area of all agents in any brokerage, like, through the board sales, 90% of all sales are cooperating. The listing agent represents the seller, there is another agent that's representing the buyer, the two agents work together to bring the buyers and sellers together. That is truly 90% of all transactions that take place. That has never changed. It is not anything different now compared to 10 years or 20 years ago. That has consistently stayed the same throughout. Perhaps, maybe 2020, 2021 got a little crazy. Maybe, yes. That was an anomaly. I mean, what wasn't crazy with COVID, right? Like, so that time was a little crazy. But other than that, it's normal. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
If one is in a condominium where many of the owners are snowbirds, so it's a second home, what is your professional experience? I hear a lot of people's opinions, but is the optimal time of year to put such a condo on the market?
Are you on the island?
Yes.
Okay. So the island property, very excellent question. Thank you for that. So the island properties are definitely season driven. And so majority of the homes that sell or condos that sell tend to be in a concentrated time of October to around Easter, right, Dawn? Yeah. But then after that, the sales don't come to a standstill, but it's sluggish, it's slower, because that is like as you mentioned, half the people are not here, so the demand is that person that is out of, but that market has taken a little bit of a hit. I know, I'm sorry. Yes, sir.
So, as a follow-up to that, residential properties, do they have any particular seasonality? Thinking a buyer might have children in school, that
Kind of friendly.
Correct. So that definitely varies based on where the property is located. 90% of the homes are all year-round homes or single-family homes. But there are certain high-end exclusive golf course communities that are definitely seasonal. Like if you're Piper's Landing or Harbor Ridge and some of these golf course, Medalist, Sailfish Point, like all these neighborhoods tend to be seasonal themselves, even though there's no age restriction or anything like that. 90% of the people that live there are snowbirds, and they literally have like welcome snowbird party and bye-bye snowbird party. So if your neighborhood has a welcome and bye-bye, then you're seasonal. Otherwise, you're year-round. That would be a general rule of thumb to go by, right? Okay. Anybody else? Jill? Yes.
So I noticed, in 2023, the median house price was 843. And I noticed in February of this month, the median house is 649. Is that correct?
We just talked about this. So one sale affected it.
Okay.
So there was a high-end, what was it, 33 million? Yeah. So there was a $33 million property on Jupiter Island that skewed that number.
Okay, so the 849 is not an accurate.
No, not at all, not at all. So the price has not gone up, but definitely one sale sometimes skews the numbers, right? And that's why I like to focus more on quarterly reports rather than monthly, because 1 month numbers is not a trend. Like I need to look at 3 months or 4 months number to determine.
Okay.
But that was definitely the 33 million Jupiter Island that affected that number.
So my question would be, are the buyers now, are the sellers now going to be looking at less money than last year for the value of their house?
Most definitely. All things equal, like it's not a carte blanche thing, but all things considered equal. Now, if you have completely renovated and put a new roof and done everything, perhaps your value may not get affected at all, because those properties are still maintaining value and creating the demand. But otherwise, on normal properties, if nothing has gone like, majorly renovated, then you should expect a slight adjustment, not like this, but a slight, like to put it in perspective, since I've been doing this like forever and a day, I was in this market in 2009, 10, 11, Lehman Brothers collapsed, AIG went out, like remember that time? So we are talking about months of supply here, right? Like I'm hyper focused on those numbers, and now we are at 6.2. Then we were at 36 months. Like that is a true real estate collapse. This is just an adjustment, it's nothing. It really is not anything at all. Yeah, it shifted a little bit. Yeah, we might need to index the windows, but it's not like our market has come to a standstill by any means, you know? So it's still a very healthy market. Thank you, everyone.